Coming up on this program, we show you how to get connected. Find out how to choose an internet service provider. Discover the newest form of communication, electronic mail.
Ways down and ready to ride. One by one, billion by billion, is holding up half the sky. Raise your hand if you're ready and willing. If you know it's time. Time for a girl on time. Time for a girl on time. Time for
Hello, everybody. I love how every time I play the intro, I lose like 6 people. They come back. Oh, there they are. They're back. Hi, guys. I hope everybody's doing well today. Oh yeah, forgot. I think I owe a thank you to Miss Tammy, who's become a member. Yeah. Starting the day off right, girl. I love it. Hope your husband's doing well. Send him our best. Um, what a great idea. I love it. I love it, love it, love it. Love it, love it, love it. Um, I I didn't ask, Mayor. I never asked that. But thank you for telling us. And also, hi, Mayor. We're lovely to see you. There's MB, Brew Crew, Mark Westburn. Hello, sir. How are you? Um, and Sean, are you saying stay inside without the heat and the AC, and then you'll hate summer? Is that what you're saying? Is it Harry Potter Day? Oh, because my glasses? I just think they add to the outfit. They're a prop, just like the hair. Um, Colette's here, Kate Crimson's here. I'm glad to hear you guys are doing well. Thank you for being here. We are going to, I'll be honest, the reason I'm late is because while I thought ahead and said, okay, make sure that you get to the part where we were in the video before, I didn't. And so then it was time to go, and I actually just had to shuffle through the last episode and see where we ended, and then find it quickly so that I didn't have to do all that in front of you. Selfish, really. Selfish of me. Drunk Beaver Productions, Jonathan, how are you? Um, It is Sunday, and it's also a long weekend here in Canada. Tomorrow is Canada Day, a lovely day for us. So I mean, I'll still be streaming, but it is a holiday here. So all the people that work real jobs have it off, which is exciting. I do remember when I used to get stat holidays. Oh, ooh, baby, stat holidays. Yeah. Mm, mm. That's right. Um, so Ed, yes, you were late, but I was also late. So it sort of evens out, eh? I do recall last Canada Day, I streamed from here. I streamed outside and I was wearing, oh, somebody's yelling at me. I was wearing, I had Canada tattoos, I think, on my face, but I also was ignoring I'm hold on. Uh, I had tattoos on my face. I don't know what's going on here. And I had and then Creed showed up, which is very rare. If ever you see Credence and Mikey, it's usually Mikey, but Creed actually showed up in my chat, and I guess I ignored him, and I've never forgot it to this day, and he's mentioned it a couple times. So we'll have to keep an eye out again just in case Creed ever pops by. We have to give him a real big welcome. Anyways, we are gonna get going on this. I'm gonna get it going and then see what's going on outside the door here. So give me one moment, please.
Mornings early before school so that I could take them to school. But this was also to be temporary.
All right, and then I think you were asked if that schedule worked and you replied it did not, right?
No, this was all supposed to be temporary. Victoria had promised me that this would be a temporary schedule and that she would figure something out
Okay.
and has since tried to make it permanent.
Did that schedule, when now with Victoria having overnights on Tuesday, or not Tuesday, Monday night, that required you to do what Tuesday morning?
This requires just to get up earlier to drive to her home early right before she leaves for work.
Okay. And so
Instead of having the children at the house ready to take them to school in the morning.
so you would come to her house, pick them up, and then take them to school, is that fair?
Correct.
Okay. And what school did the children attend?
They've always attended Gull Lake Community School Districts.
Okay. What parent time schedule do you believe is in the children's best interest?
I believe a 2255 would be very easy to work through or work out.
Okay.
But again, I'm willing to do either of, if Victoria would want a full week on or off, but I think that 2255 would make it so that we don't ever have to go a whole week without seeing the children.
Okay. And have you proposed that schedule to Victoria?
Yes,
Okay. Obviously that you were not able, were you able to agree on that schedule?
no,
Okay. So in regards to the current arrangement, do you guys have an agreement regarding the holidays?
we do not have an agreement on holidays. I've missed all of them because they usually land on weekends.
Okay, so is the understanding that you guys have been following, what is the understanding that you have been following with respect to the holidays?
The holidays that so far have been whatever, if you get lucky and it's your day, you get them. And so I've missed all of them. I missed Father's Day, missed Christmas. I believe the only holiday I had.
Oh, that's low. That's fucking low. You always give the other parent Mother's or Father's Day. That's pretty low. Look at her smile. Don't smile like that, Victoria. Don't do that. Bothering me.
Was Halloween.
Okay, or any other holiday that would fall on a Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday?
Or on a school night, correct?
Okay. Father's Day weekend, or this last Father's Day weekend, did you get the children on Father's Day?
This Father's Day, I received a text from Victoria the night before asking if I would like to see them. This was the first time I'd ever received such a text. I absolutely told her yes and was thankful that she would allow me to have them this year on Father's Day. Then when the kids came over.
All right, you can't say what the kids said. So did Victoria give you a reason why she was proposing you have Father's Day this year?
She did not give me a reason.
Okay, but she dropped the kids off and you had them?
Correct.
Okay. Have you guys discussed at all what may be a good routine with respect to the holidays moving forward?
I believe that we should follow the handbook that's given by the courts to split the holidays evenly.
Okay. You think sharing those holidays and rotating them is in the children's best interest?
Absolutely.
Now, based on this current arrangement, during the school year, what's a typical Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday look like and Friday look like for you?
So Tuesday morning, I get up early to pick up the kids at 8 in the morning so that Victoria can run off to work. Then I proceed to take the children to school, drop them off, then me and Eli head home. We'll eat breakfast, we'll play for a little bit, he'll go down for a nap. And then right after his nap is typically the time that we'll go pick up the children, which I leave the house around 3 to 3:10. And to Ava and Everly's school by 3:45 and back home by 4:30. And then we eat dinner, do homework, and play for a few hours before they go to bed. And that cycle repeats every day. On Fridays are the worst because the children are at school and directly from school, I drop them off. So Fridays, I only see them for a few hours for the whole day.
Okay, and then when on Fridays, that's when you take them to Victoria?
Straight from school.
Okay, all right. So who is, so on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, who's packing the kids' lunches?
I am.
All right. Who's doing homework with the kids each week?
I do the homework with them, but it is fun, so.
Okay. Do you want to have some weekend time with the children?
Absolutely, it's just time that we can all play together and enjoy the sun and the lake, or they can have their friends over and play.
Are you able to have the kids' friends over right now?
No, unless it is a holiday break for 2 weeks, then I might get to sneak in a day or two with the friends coming over, but otherwise they're school nights.
Okay. What about in the summertime? Are you able to have the kids' friends over to the house?
Summertime has been nice now because the kids absolutely get to wake up and play and cook pancakes, or I can take them to the park or the zoo or just go on the boat.
Okay.
But usually during the year, it's not like that.
Okay. Now with your current work schedule, are you able to get the kids to and from school and to their appointments during the week?
Absolutely, I always work my work schedule around the children. I think that's what every parent has to do.
Okay. If you had that, if the court adopted that 2255 schedule, would that allow you to have more time for employment and work?
Correct.
Okay. Would that schedule allow you to change, to modify or adjust your work schedule so that you are able to be home on those days that you have the kids?
Correct.
Okay. So I'm gonna show you, see if I can find it now. What's been marked as exhibit B as a boy. If I can figure that out again.
Hold on. Is this the part that we've already seen where he is going to object about the rules? If so, we're behind. If not, we're okay. Let's have a collective prayer that Mr. Schaefer doesn't open his mouth and give us all deja vu, please. Okay?
Oh, shoot. All right, 1 second. Okay, oops, I don't know this. So on the screen, let me know when you guys can see it here. All right, do you see what's been marked as exhibit B as in boy?
You telling me?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Can you identify what exhibit B is?
This is the attendance for Go Lake Community Schools.
All right, and let's see, it looks like which child is this attendance record for?
This one is Everly, but they're both the same.
Okay, so now, is this something that you printed, or how did you come about getting this schedule?
I asked the school district to send me the attendance files.
Okay, So this is a business record that you received from the school?
Correct, this is their website.
Okay, it's on their website?
You need passcodes and things to get into it, yes, for privacy reasons, but this is the school district's information.
Okay, I'd ask that exhibit B be admitted.
Okay, Mr. Schaefer?
Objection, proper foundation is not laid, it's hearsay.
Okay. Mr. Moldovan, if you can lay a foundation, then you can try to get it in.
So, all right, now Jesse, you said you had to log into your, the school portal,
Correct,
and this is something that the school provides or maintains.
correct.
Did you have any access to editing this or anything?
No,
Okay, you were able to what, print this from the website?
correct,
Is this something that Victoria also has access to?
yes,
All right, and it is a record that is, again, maintained and controlled by the school.
correct. This
Yeah,
is-
I'm going to object. I don't think the foundation laid that he has that information.
Okay,
Okay. Judge, I don't think okay is the response to the objection. I think it's usually either overruled or sustained. Hi, Holly. Hope you're doing well. Interesting. Interesting.
I'll keep asking.
Moldovan,
I believe there's a foundation for admission of this exhibit, but, I think it just does meet the business records exception here to hearsay. It's something that certainly a document that was available to each party, from their website. So, I ask that.
I still object to proper foundation's hearsay, Your Honor. The business entries rule requires the keeper of the records to come in to verify what the procedure is in that regard. And that's not what we have brought here. We have heard nothing from anybody from the school district. So it is hearsay. It's a document allegedly of the school district, and the proper foundation hasn't been laid.
okay. Mr. Moldovan, what's your response?
Again, Your Honor, I believe for the purposes of this hearing that it has trustworthiness and reliability and it's admissible on that basis.
Well-
It's not an exception to the hearsay rule.
Okay. Obviously, it is hearsay, so it has to fit within the exceptions. And if you're fitting under a business records exception, then you do have to have the custodian of the records establish the reliability and that it is a business record. All we have is his statement that it's somehow on the school's website, and but there's nothing more above and beyond that. So the court is going to sustain the objection.
Interesting. Whatever. I don't know. My brain's like, I feel like the records have been established. I would get her up on the stand and cross-examine her on the portal, but I'm not a lawyer, so I probably wouldn't. Also, y'all are talking about the weather. I guess it is hearsay. The business records exemption would get it in, but you need a witness to testify to that. Here it is currently 68 degrees and windy with partly cloudy conditions. I just think that those, I don't know.
No, Jesse, have you reviewed the attendance records of the children?
correct.
And based upon your review, is there a concern with Victoria getting the children to school?
There is a concern. Gull Lake Community School Districts has the days set up into 36 total weeks for school. So there's 36 Mondays, Tuesdays, Wednesdays, Thursdays, Fridays, totaling to 180 school days. And of those 36 days, of the 180 that Victoria can take them to school, they have missed 15 Mondays. So their attendance issue is with Victoria on half the time that she can take them to school has not
I'm
Yeah.
going to object, Your Honor, that this is based on hearsay, and I'm going to object, proper foundation other.
Okay, Mr. Moldovan?
Your Honor, I think, you know, Ms.
No, that one's based on his knowledge. He is able to look at the school attendance records. I would just say I've received report cards for my children for the last X number of days or X number of semesters or whatever, and on those are printed the number of missed days and when. Does that get around the hearsay exception? Because they're the custodians of the report card? I don't know why I get so bothered by her face, but I am bothered.
Mr. Vavros has the ability to testify about what he's learned and reviewed in regards to the school's record. This is all information that Ms. Vavra has available to her. If she disputes it, she can testify about that.
Well, she does not have to dispute it if it's hearsay, just because she can. And so, I'm gonna sustain the objection.
Have you and Ms. and Victoria had discussions regarding the children's attendance?
So I took a picture on a letter from the school district that stated that the children are missing.
Objection,
No.
hearsay,
No.
testifying hearsay.
I'll
Mr. Barbara, you cannot state what somebody else says or what any documents might say that are not in evidence in this particular matter, so.
Yes, Your Honor.
I understand you don't know that, you don't understand that, but don't go there, okay?
No, they could, if Vince, if they had called somebody from the school, the custodian of the records for the school, who's either an administrator or a secretary, they could prove up these and get around the hearsay objection, but they didn't.
Okay.
so my question,
Ooh, work around our family wizard message. See, what he should be doing is every day they have missed day at school on her days, he should be noting that in our family wizard, because those are automatically admissible, I think, because the court, everybody can look at them. And so I would argue that what he should do is every time he gets the message that they're fucking not at school, he should message her and say, Victoria, I received a note from the school today that the children were absent. Could you please let me know if they're okay, etc. And then he could point to, well, it's not the school records, it's our family wizard records that I, on 15 different Mondays, emailed, or on Tuesdays or whatever it is, messaged her on our family wizard and said, why weren't the children in school? And I think that would get around the hearsay objection, because that is his words.
have you and Victoria discussed the attendance issues between the two of you?
Yes.
Okay, and has Victoria admitted that she's taken the children out for personal days and other reasons?
Yes.
Okay, and that's a concern for you?
Correct.
How often do the children miss school when they're with you?
Only if the school calls them home because they are sick at school, or if they are throwing up or have a fever.
Okay, knowing that there's been this issue with the children being absent, or this concern regarding the children's attendance at school, do you still believe that a 2255 schedule makes sense for the children?
Correct.
Yes. Is that yes?
Yes.
Okay. Now, you said the children attend Gull Lake schools.
Correct.
When your oldest daughter started school, Ava, you and obviously Victoria were still together.
Correct.
What about Everly when she started school?
We were still together as well.
Okay. So was there a discussion and an agreement that the children would attend the Gull Lake schools over other schools?
Absolutely. It's the best school district in the area, and Victoria and I both agreed that it's where they've been. received a third of her education now already. There's deep family roots in the school district.
So, at the time, you were living in Dowling, right?
Correct.
And does Dowling have a public school system?
Dowling has Delton, Michigan, or
Okay,
Delton Community Schools.
okay. And, but you and Victoria believe that, that Gull Lake was a better fit for your children?
Correct.
Okay, now you were just going into it, but I cut you off, but, how are the kids doing at Gull Lake schools?
The children currently are thriving. They've received excellent grades. They're to meet or exceed the expectations that they need to.
Okay, do they have they developed friendships and relationships with other peers and classmates?
Yes,
What grade is, your oldest gonna be in this year?
she'll be fourth grade at Thomas M. Ryan.
Okay, and what about your middle child?
She will be going into first grade.
Okay, your youngest, Eli, is 3. Is there like a young fives program or anything for him or no?
Not currently. He will still be at home.
Okay. So the children, so the school record for the children has been a positive one in your opinion?
Absolutely.
Okay. Why did you guys choose Gull Lake schools?
They are the best district within the area. My parents were principals there, teachers there. Victoria used to work for the school district. Me and their uncles all went to the school, and they have strong ties and friendships that are ongoing currently at the district as well.
Okay, and did you and
Hector, I appreciate the fact that you think that I pre-watched this 3-hour hearing, but I didn't. I'm watching it just like you guys are. Some people may have already seen this case. I mean, I don't know if it's gonna be spicy or not. What I do know is that when the judge rules in a few weeks, just so you know, there's no ruling today. It's not because I have it and won't give it to you. The judge has to take his time and rule, and we're sort of like living in real time here. But I think it's interesting to know these cases. Like, even though they may not be like super, dramatic to everybody, for me and us, I think these are pretty cool cases. Anyways, I don't know though. Yeah, she fancied Mario is the real reason, but she won't admit it. Although her dad sort of called him the boyfriend, and what else? The dad, yeah, I mean, they got it, right? It's not as frustrating as the last lady. They were just mean. Like, mean. Like, this lady's barely made a big deal about she's made a little bit of a big deal about the DUI, but like not nearly with what we have with St. Jacob. You know what? Here's the truth. I actually have a folder on my computer where I put the juiciest, the raunchiest, the most explosive cases, sometimes just the end. And that I don't share that with almost anybody. That's like my private folder, and I labeled it like the best that I'll never share. I'm obviously kidding. I've made that joke before when people like accuse me of that. Not live people, but you know what I mean. I always share this. If I've got it, I share it with you guys. I promise. Also, it exists, Sherry. That's the weirdest part about Rule 34 of the internet. Yeah, my private reserve, my special private reserve. It does. Perfect. We're hitting the right mark.
Victoria discuss, submitting the paperwork for school of choice to allow the children to attend Gull Lake schools?
Correct. This year, even we both submitted privately. Victoria submitted to keep them there, and I did as well.
Okay. And how far of a drive is it for you, to get them to Go Lake schools?
To Kellogg Elementary, it is roughly 17 minutes,
Okay,
and to Thomas and Ryan, it is approximately 26, 27.
okay. When you go and pick up the children from Victoria's house on Tuesday morning, how long of a drive is it from Victoria's house to the Go Lake schools?
I would say 16, 17 minutes.
Okay, so similar commute from your home to
Right.
the school as in from Victoria's home to the school?
Correct.
Okay. Do you know what school district Victoria lives, this house is located in?
Her house, I believe, would be Battle Creek Central.
Okay. If you had to compare, if in your opinion as a parent, if you had to, which school would you prefer over the two, Gull Lake versus Battle Creek Central?
We both agree that Gull
The
Lake.
question, there's no basis for it. I mean, it went all over the place, comparing the type of school it is. If it's an opinion based on nothing, that's one thing, but if it's alleged that it's based on some sort of scientific research, then I submit that the proper foundation has laid for this opinion.
Well, Mr. Moldovan, if you can establish what it was that the parties considered in deciding, then court will allow.
Sure. What factors did you take into consideration when you chose Gull Lake schools over other schools?
Victoria and I just agreed that it was a much better school district, better facilities, better teachers and programs.
Okay. Now, I believe there was a proposal that to switch the children's schools from Gull Lake to Marshall. I'm not sure if that's still an idea.
It was Penn.
Penfield, okay. If the court were to adopt a change in the school to Penfield, let's say, how would that affect the commute?
Both homes are out of district in Penfield. I'm not sure exactly where Penfield is to my home or Victoria's home, but I believe it would be the exact same drive.
Okay. Maybe a little bit more for you or less, you know?
I would assume more, but I don't know.
Okay, that's fine. Did you said you graduated from Gull Lake schools?
Correct.
Okay. Do you know anyone that's involved in the Penfield school system?
I do not.
And if it were Marshall, how far of an impact would that have on you?
This would be a 45-minute drive
Okay. Each way?
each way.
Okay, so if the children were to attend Marshall schools, that would be is that a significant increase in the commute time?
That would be hardest on our three.
Arguably, Vince, we're even freakier because we're watching this like for fun. Hi, Officer Porkchop. But I get what you're saying. I think a lot of the time there's two things. What we see in court is actually a very small snippet of most lawyers' actual practices. Some do specialize in litigation, but in reality, a lot of them don't. In fact, it's argued that a good lawyer rarely goes to court because they are good at negotiating, good at manipulating, good at influencing. And I just think some people get into this for the actual good of it, like they think they might be able to help. And then some people might look at it like a cash cow. Yeah. I don't know. I think that it's got juicier sort of stuff than most court because it's people's lives. I love looking into like I love I would love to do tours of random people's homes. And the same thing goes for when you get to sneak peek into a slice of their life. Who said that? Slice of life. Big booty starfish. Yeah. Um, Also, Jody, we love you. I hope you're doing okay. Um, I mean, yeah, I think cash cowing, Cash Cab's a great show, first of all, Sherry. But yeah, I think that we've seen some terrible lawyers but honestly, what the common denominator is usually a bitter client. Okay. It's not exactly easy to turn somebody bitter as a lawyer. They already come to the table quite upset. And so it really can be impactful who and how they are led around, you know? Oh, is that right, Hector? That's funny. Um, Hi Wahoo. Okay. I know there's a fine line between a home, open house and a home invasion. I can't remember now what I was gonna say. And yeah, a lawyer, you get what you pay for. It's true. Well, there used to be I mean, that's sort of an old joke because I've appeared from like 5 or 6 or 7 different kitchens over the years. Um, Actually, I plead the 5th. I plead the 5th.
Year-old's son that would have to do this trip 4 times per day.
Okay, so. Are you in favor of the children's continuing their education and enrollment at Gull Lake schools?
Correct.
Yes, okay. Now, during your time with children, do you limit mothers' ability, their ability to contact mom?
Never.
Do you encourage the children to contact mom?
Yes.
Okay. In what ways?
I let them.
Mark. Wow. Thank you. Oh my God, the chat's gonna be going nuts right now if it's giving out 50 memberships. Thank you. Oh my God. Holy shit. Oh my God. We are going to have the best members only today. Holy shit. Mark, thank you so much. Oh my goodness gracious. I'm scrolling through the chat here. This is amazing. T-Rex. It's nuts. Hi, T-Rex. Oh, I love you too, Jody. Tracy, glad you're here. I'm sure all these people are coming out of the woodwork. Hi, you guys. Oh my God, Mark, thank you so much. Wow, wow, wow. What a fucking trip. Oh my God. Wow. Okay. What are we doing? We're watching court. I forgot what we're doing. Woo! Did they get given out? I can't handle this. This is crazy. I'm gonna hit play. Thank you, Mark. Oh my God. Woo!
Know that anytime they would like to speak to her, talk to her, communicate or call her, they're absolutely welcome to. They usually do not do this, but they absolutely know that they can. And Victoria knows as well that she can call or text me asking to speak to them and will be able to.
Do you do anything to limit mom's ability to contact the children when they're with you?
No,
Okay. What, with respect to social, to texting and having electronic devices, what kind of, boundaries or limitations do you place on the children?
I limit their time on iPads or technology or TV. Feel that it robs childhood. And I definitely keep them off of any social media, TikTok or like the YouTube or any of those things.
Okay.
So sorry. I'm reading all of the messages. I'm basking in Mark's gift and being so thankful. I don't even know if you know, like it's the end of the month and that makes a really big difference. And I really appreciate that. But I'm just like basking in that happiness, feeling good, you know? And then everyone's like talking about the cult and I'm laughing because what the fuck is I got distracted last night researching weird cults. So that's hilarious to me. And then I got snapped out of it by hearing TikTok and YouTube. Oh my God. Oh, I love you guys. Okay, I'm paying attention.
Have you and Victoria disagreed over, the kids' access to, the electronic devices?
Believe that she wants the ability to have them have cell phones. And I just think that they're far too young.
Okay. When do you think it's more age appropriate for the children to have, their own cell phones?
I would say if the children were to be in sporting events where they were left alone at practices after school for an hour, then I might consider having them have the ability to contact either of us, but currently they're never alone or in events where it puts us both away from them at any time.
Okay. Are you open to, reasonable phone contact during parenting time for each parent?
Absolutely.
Yes. Do you rely on your father to take the kids to and from school and other things?
No.
Okay. Now, how often are you relying on other people to watch the kids during your time?
I do not have anyone watch the kids. That's my time that I crave to have with the children and they crave to have with me. And just they've never had a babysitter or anything of such, never hired a babysitter, they've never been in daycare.
Do you ever leave the children home alone?
No, they're far too little.
I think Victoria testified that there was a couple occasions that you did leave the children alone.
Correct.
Can you, one was alleged to occur in April of this year. Do you recall that?
I do.
Explain to me what happened there, on that in April of 2024.
So that time I was going to give an interview at 8:30 p.m. to a person, which is the time that the children go to bed. So I told the client that I would have to call them after the children went to bed. I put them in the bed that we all share and told them that I would be on the phone for approximately 10-15 minutes tops. And then I sat in the car and gave the interview. And the entire time I was giving the interview, Ava was knocking on the car door. But there was never a time where anyone left. And I believe that Ava texted Victoria that I was not in the home.
Okay.
But then after that, Ava knew that I was in the car. She then texted Victoria that I was in the car on the phone.
All right. So in that April situation, you'd gone outside of the driveway, you had not left.
Correct.
Okay. I think there was a testimony from that the other occasion occurred in February of 2024. Do you recall that?
I don't recall any of this or what it is about.
Okay. So to your knowledge, or it's your testimony that you do not leave the children alone.
I would never leave the children alone.
I actually believe it, Pokeroo. That sounds feasible to me. It also completely goes away from what she said, which is that the children aren't allowed to text her. How did she receive a text from the children about him not being there in April if they're not allowed to text while they're there? It can't be both ways, right? See, again, he could have, here's the thing, if he was gonna leave them alone and their texts go and the texts go through, like, if he was nefarious about it, he would have taken the tablets or taken the things. Like, I it sounds very realistic to me. You have a house of 3 children that are loud or whatever, need attention. They want you to be in bed with them. I bet he goes to bed almost when they go to bed. And then, because they all sleep in the same bed. And then you're trying to take a phone call. And he mentioned that he worked out on the West Coast, so that's 3 hours. So it's feasible to me that he could be doing like an interview for work or could be doing a call, and the only place in that house plan to be private would be in a car or I guess in the bathroom. But we know there's no tub in there, so who the fuck even wants to go into the bathroom if there's no bathtub? Not Victoria.
Absolutely not.
Okay. Any history of domestic violence between you and Victoria?
No.
All right. And you said you haven't drank alcohol since 2015?
Correct. And Victoria testified that to be true when she spoke as well, that I did not drink.
Okay. Do you know if Victoria still drinks?
Correct. She definitely still drinks.
Have you seen her drinking alcohol?
Yes.
Okay. Now, was there an occasion where you've had to assist Victoria during this workday because she had been drinking?
So I've worked with her company truck and driven around with her for a workday, correct?
When was that?
This would have been probably a few months after the major separation. So I would say around April of last year.
Okay. Do you believe?
Wow, so drunk her called her ex to come help her, and he went? Where was the child who needs cared for all the time? I know 2 of them are at school, but where is the other one? Did that child just drive around in the car with you guys?
Believe there's an issue with the drinking, or is it something that's kind of?
Yes, when we meet up to talk, I've seen her jump out of her truck with a beer can in her hand while we meet to discuss about the children.
Okay. I'll keep moving. Now, I think it was asked regarding doctor's appointments. Do you have any issues with the children seeing a physician?
No,
Do you have family that are in the medical field?
my grandfather was a doctor.
What about, are you Western medication or?
No. In college, I was studying microbiology towards the field of medical field like itself.
Okay. And obviously, what was that position with the first responders? That kind of, is there or emergency response, is that kind of medical related or is that just an environmental disaster?
Environmental and medical, if there was an accident on site, everyone has medical training, CPR certified, defibrillator. I teach courses to the Coast Guard on ice rescue and how to bring people back if they've been drowned, whatnot.
First aid certified and all that
First
stuff?
aid, of course.
All right, so if there was a medical issue for the children, would you seek appropriate assistance?
Absolutely.
Okay. If the court were to modify the current schedule, do you believe the children will be able to adjust to that?
Yes.
I think she's embarrassed that it didn't work out with Mario. I think either she didn't cheat or, you know, they were emotionally having an affair and then she left with this assumption that Mario was going to be, you know, the new thing. And then sounds like Mario didn't work out. Even though she tried to make it happen, introduced to her family. I mean, it was probably a year before I introduced. I don't know. I'm trying to think. I just think like I know Mario was going to give her that real bathtub. I also would like to point out that I specifically put a bathtub on the thumbnail today and yesterday, different ones. I want to give Victoria different options. I know, honestly, it's the most important thing in this case, so I worked hard on that.
I want to clarify the drunk driving issue. You were arrested in 2012 while operating a motor vehicle?
Correct.
Okay. And your testimony was that there was a proposal regarding reckless driving over impaired?
Right, so when I was speaking to the officer, I did field sobriety test and passed it. I felt that I was not intoxicated, so he asked if I'd do a breathalyzer. and
I'm
I-
going to object to the hearsay and it's the relevance of that, Your Honor.
Okay. Mr. Moldovan?
Your Honor, I think it's relevant only because Mr. Schaefer brought it up. But I'm trying to clarify because I think that testimony was not very clear in regards to what actually transpired that day.
Well, you can clarify it, but I don't want to have any hearsay, so I don't want to hear what the police officer or prosecutor or anybody else said.
When you went to court, were you concerned with your ability to drive a vehicle?
Correct.
And the charge that you were charged with would result in a suspension of your license?
If I had chosen the reckless driving charge, yes, I was told that it'd be a 6 month driver suspension.
Okay. And you ended up, to your knowledge, pleading guilty to driving while impaired?
Correct, with no driver suspension.
Okay, so, and that's how it was relayed to you, right?
Right.
Okay, now, do you recall what your blood alcohol level was that night?
Yes,
What was it?
0.08.
Okay. The children were not obviously around back then in 2012, right?
This was before I even knew Victoria.
Okay. Other than that, any criminal history?
No,
Okay. And you said you have not drank alcohol since 2015?
correct.
Why did you decide to stop drinking alcohol?
I wanted to focus on health and fitness, and I knew that alcohol does not help anyone in any given scenario. And I just don't ever want my daughters or son to ever see me or someone that they love drink a lot, so I decided to quit completely.
Okay.
And the whole entire time we were married, I never drank once with, I didn't drink at our wedding.
Okay. What, you filed,
Wow. I bet even St. Jacob drank at the wedding. Right. Also, welcome to the new members. Thank you again to Mark for the fantabulous gift to so many people who will get to join us tonight for members only. It'll be in a while. It's always on Sundays. It's always after our what we usually call a Sunday Court Watchers Anonymous meeting. But oh, Victoria hates this part. She's so pissed because remember she testified about just drinking is normal, baby, and I like drinking. And that's okay. Weed is normal, baby, and I like weed. That's what I would testify to as well. But my defiance wouldn't help me in a court case, and it doesn't help her in her court case either. Allegedly, in my opinion.
taxes this for 2023?
Yes,
All right, was that filed married separate?
correct. It was the first time we filed separately.
Okay, so 2022, you filed jointly with Victoria for
Right.
2022? Okay. And so for tax year 2023, did you get to claim any of the children as dependents?
No,
No? Okay. So I assume if you didn't claim them, was it Victoria that claimed them?
correct.
Did you and Victoria agree on that?
I was not aware of it until she told me that she claimed them both, or all three of them.
Okay.
And in fact, here's what's funny. 1 year, right after my ex-husband and I split up, I can't remember which year it was. It was either the next year or I think it was the next year. Anyways, he took our daughter and put her on his taxes without talking to me about it. And he wasn't allowed to do that because I had her like the majority of the time, but we came to an agreement about it. And it doesn't happen anymore. He claimed it was an accident.
Moving forward for tax year 2024, what would you propose?
I believe that the most common thing would be each of us claims one always, and then we go back and forth on the third child.
Okay,
But
so your proposal would be to share that tax exemption equally?
correct. I feel like that's standard on most cases.
That seems fair.
So I'm gonna show you, what's marked as Exhibit J.
I mean, that's better than saying, let's have another kid and make it even, right? I think that's a better idea. And that's reasonable. It's reasonable. It's unreasonable for her to say when she has the children 40% or 50, maybe 55% of the time, and the dad has the kids 45% of the time, or even 60-40. It's unreasonable to never share if there's 3 children. It's different if there's 1 child, okay? That's although I think in Canada you can share the tax exemption, as in like split it. I don't know. Obviously, I'm not a fucking tax expert. One job I haven't had. But I just feel like that sounds fair. What I would even say is the person, well, each of them get 1, and then whoever's tax liability is higher, so whoever earns more money gets the second child or the third child on theirs. That's what I would say. And that way it's best utilized.
Maybe. All right, this is.
Also, it would incentivize them to make more money.
There it is. Jay. Okay. Can you see this now? Let's see. everyone see it now?
I think so,
Yes.
but you better not be doxing anyone, dude.
Jesse, can you identify what Exhibit J is?
So this is the holidays, the schedules for the year and the next coming fourth year.
Okay, is this a chart that you put together?
Correct.
Okay. Is it? And again, you put this together?
Correct.
Okay, I'd ask Exhibit J be admitted.
Okay, Mr. Schaefer?
I'm not sure what the relevance of it is.
Well,
A chart that he put together of holidays, I don't know the relevance of it. Objectus or relevance.
well, I don't know the relevance either, but we know what the legal holidays are, but I'll admit it. I don't think that it
Your Honor, I have probably two questions about it, and that's about it, so.
okay.
Mr. Jesse, you put this this chart together based upon the current parent time schedule?
Correct.
And so based on this, I see all the holidays on mom's column. Why is that?
The holidays are usually aligned with weekends.
Okay, so, and if we look at this, you get those birthdays on the right column and she gets, or those holidays on the right, and she gets the ones on the left?
Right, and 3 of the one on my right, I still have to give the children back.
Okay,
Or receiving them about midday. But last year I did not even get to see the kids on Christmas or New Year's or Christmas Eve. Just because it was, and I begged and pleaded to, and Victoria did not allow that. We even filed.
That's not fucking cool. Oh, you hear the tone of my voice? Changed. Listen, Victoria, if you want to be fucking miserable on Christmas, go ahead. Okay? Be miserable. Go fucking hang out with Mario. Get fucking day drunk. I don't give a fuck. Okay? But mark my words. They will remember that you didn't let them see their father. They'll put it together. It will become obvious. And this YouTube video will be here forever. Ever. And when you email me to beg me to take it down, like so many people have, in fact, it's only 2, but still, I'm not going to do that.
A motion to have some shared time, and it was not successful.
all right. It is because of this, how this ends up laying out. Is that why you're requesting that the court adopt an alternating schedule consistent with
Correct.
the policy? Okay. With respect to summertime, what parenting time schedule are you proposing?
I would propose that a 2255 would impact Victoria the least and be beneficial to the children in every way.
Okay. Now, again, I think I recall from the last hearing, Victoria's work schedule was that she doesn't work on Mondays. Is that what it was?
Correct.
Okay. So with respect to the 2255 schedule,
That's weird. I think that is weird, Vince. Also, listen, Hector, as somebody who, it's hard to explain this. My mom was not happy when my dad and her split up. I was like 5. I don't remember, but even though she wasn't happy, my dad spent every Christmas with us, as in I woke up in the same house, and every Christmas until he got married when I was like 12 years old, he was already there in the morning. They called, I guess. They came together even though they didn't like each other so that we could have normal Christmas. We didn't even have to go to 2 different houses until I was older. And that was only, I remember the year that happened and my mom was all pissed about it. And I was like, well, like I started to realize how much my dad bent over backwards to keep things really, really normal for us and really nice for us. Like it was, I didn't realize that. And so actually, I do remember the first year that I got separated from my ex-husband, and he didn't want to do that. And I was like, "What?" And he wanted to split the day. So him and I have always split each day half and half because that's what he's comfortable with. I would much rather be together. Although now he has a family and more kids and it's just me who's single. Like basically I would like it if he would invite me for Christmas, but we'll get there maybe one day. Anyways, um I think it's good for co-parenting. What I am referencing is the fact that it uh I have a philosophy on this channel that I maintain for my own integrity. Many of you have heard this before. But I don't title or label descriptions with any participants' names. I don't post these so that they can necessarily be a perfect archive that people can just type in the name of their aunt, their mother, their whatever into YouTube and find the video. I personally don't like to do that. I know these videos are cool, and I think that as court watchers, we appreciate them, and that's who they're for. I am not there to out Victoria necessarily to her kids. On the other hand, I'm also not going to delete the video because somebody's embarrassed about their conduct in court, which is literally an email that I've gotten in the name of protecting their children. Again, that video wasn't labeled with anybody's name, so how somebody would come across that would be quite nuanced, is what I would say. Anyways, but yeah, I just think there's a way to co-parent, and be civil with each other, and it is definitely not allowing them to see their dad on Christmas. Especially the first Christmas that you broke up, that's so low that it's bordering on unforgivable on my end. And the 8-year-old will remember. And depending next year how Christmas goes, if there's a fight about it, if mom bitches about it, all that kind of stuff, then they're going to remember every year. Like I remember the great Christmases, but I specifically remember the first year my dad didn't come over in the morning for Christmas and my mom made a big deal about it. And I remember siding with her and being sort of pissy. And then now, as I've gotten older and I recognize that my dad remarried, had more children, and wanted to experience his own Christmas too, like there's nothing wrong with that. But sharing is better. And my whole point is that children remember the messages that you as a parent give them, even if it's inadvertent.
The issue would be on Tuesdays.
Tuesdays getting the children to school. But
Okay,
again, I could do that for her. Absolutely would be willing to, and I'm currently at the moment anyways.
okay. So even if we did the 2-2-5 schedule, you could help her on those days if needed?
Absolutely.
Okay. Your Honor, I have no further questions this time.
Okay, Mr. Schaefer, any recross?
Yes, quite a bit, yes.
Oh, damn it, Mr. Schaefer, quite a bit. Okay. Well, then where's my joint? It's over here. I might need to roll another joint.
You heard the testimony of what the schedule is that Victoria has at work, and that she testified that she had gotten accommodations from her employer to coincide with what the two of you agree on the 4-3 situation. you realize that it would require her, per her testimony, that she would have to find a different job if in fact this 2255 are to be implemented. Did you hear that testimony?
Every parent has to work their schedule around their children. This isn't an isolated issue.
Say that again, you're broke up.
Yeah, I would say that every parent has to work their work schedule around their children. This is no isolated issue between just Victoria. It affects every parent in the world. But yes, I think if she needed to adjust her schedule for her children, she should.
Okay, but she has already adjusted her schedule to accommodate what the two of you agreed to do the 4-3 on, and now you're saying that you want to change it, so she should have to adjust her schedule again to accommodate what you want. Is that what I'm hearing?
That is not correct. When this schedule was imposed, there was no lawyers involved. She told me everything would be peacefully split. We would have equal time with the kids. And so I was willing to allow myself to work completely around her schedule because she told me it would not be permanent. And then when she filed for full legal custody of the children, she tried to make the schedule permanent. And that's when I had to obtain a lawyer because she was trying to take the children away 100%.
Well, I guess that wasn't my question. My question is that you're asking her to adjust her schedule to accommodate a new parenting time. Are you not?
Correct.
Okay. Going back, you indicated that you had never had a drink during the marriage. Is that, I understand you correctly?
Correct.
You indicated that your blood alcohol level was 0.08. Do you realize that by law, that's the presumption of intoxication?
Correct. I believe in 2001, it was changed from 0.1 to 0.08.
This is 2012. You realize in 2012, 0.08 was presumption of being intoxicated?
Correct.
Okay, so you were intoxicated on that occasion, is that right?
In 2012, correct.
What's your educational
years.
background?
I went to Albion College for 3 years studying microbiology and history.
Did you ever receive a degree?
I did not. I was then introduced to the
Okay.
emergency response field.
Well, let's take up that issue. Now, you have thrown out that you have multiple jobs. How much money do you make as this emergency response position?
When we were together, I was.
No, my question is, at the present time, how much money do you make at the response position?
At the present time, I'm just doing it to help out my brother's company because I have the qualifications to help with what they do,
Okay,
but I do not get paid for it.
so my first question was on the response. You are not getting paid anything. Whatever you're doing is on a voluntary basis. Is that right?
Until I receive a schedule where I can have a permanent schedule with the children, I'm not going to be able to make plans for employment.
So the answer is, I am correct that you're getting no money from this source of a job
Correct.
that you talked about.
For this trip, correct.
And now you said that you had a position or an anticipated position with a company of your brother. Are you working for him at the present time?
No, I've just helped them out. They're consultants, so they work randomly when
Are you
they get
making-
jobs.
Are you making any money for whatever you're doing with your brother at the present time?
No,
So the only income that you are currently having is that which you get from flipping houses. Is that correct?
currently, but I will be finding,
Okay, that was my question. Currently, you got
Yes.
the answer correct.
right.
Oh, recross or cross exam is so fucking terrible for everybody, isn't it? Even us watching. Also, I realized this is my court appropriate. I used to wear this dress to work all the time. Also, when I had smaller boobs, it didn't really matter. But it does have a very satisfying like buttons that come undone. But I was just thinking like about how to be appropriate for work, for court. I know my channel's not very popular, so judges don't pop by the chat very often, but could happen one day.
When did you see a physician at a doctor's appointment for the children that you testified about?
Or the dental?
No, you said you had a doctor's appointment for.
Yes, this would have been last year. This would have been
When was
last year,
that?
probably 2 months after school started.
And what doctor was it?
This was one in downtown Battle Creek, I believe is Bronson.
What was the doctor's name?
I do not recall. That was the first time I had met her. She was just the one that was giving them their vaccines for the day.
Who made the appointment?
I did.
Had you ever seen this doctor before?
No, I was just informed by the school district that their vaccines.
Oh,
had
that's
lapsed.
fine. Yes or no, it's fine. Who was the primary doctor of the children that you said that existed at some time but no longer exists?
This would have been the 2 or 3 major physicians at Serial City.
What other names?
I could not recall. It's been so long.
How long ago was it?
I would say 3 years.
So the children had no medical attention from a professional for a 3-year period?
They did receive medical attention. They just did not have a specific primary doctor anymore.
Who did they receive medical attention in that 3-year period?
They received their regular shots and boosters as most children, as all children do,
And from whom?
from the hospitals or the doctors those days. There was no real specific one.
At what organization?
I believe Bronson, the small children's hospital next to Bronson in downtown Battle Creek.
There were occasions that Victoria had requested that children go to urgent care for some self-diagnosed malady that the children were having, and you refused to go there, was there not?
I do not know what you're talking about or what medical condition you're describing.
Had you ever refused to take the children to the urgent care at the request of Victoria for the children?
No, anytime that the children need hospitalization, of course they're going to go.
That wasn't my question. Did you ever refuse?
My answer was no.
No, okay.
My answer is no. I've never refused to take the children to the doctor.
Okay. You gave us a lot of testimony about Gull Lake. And I guess you agree that Penfield, distance-wise, would be equal to both of you at the present time. Did I understand you correctly?
No, I was saying that I do not know the location of Penfield to my current home.
So you've never checked it out,
No, I've always been on firm ground that they should stay where they've always been.
That's basically because your family is associated with the Gull Lakes district, correct?
No, it's because Ava has already spent a third of her education there and has made serious bonds and friends in the district, as with Everly.
And Ava's
And
in
it
what
is-
grade? Just finished the 3rd grade?
Correct, she'll be in 4th grade now.
So 3 years is a third of her education?
No, she's already enrolled in Gull Lake for this fourth year and has already met her teacher. So she's going, and she's been admitted to Gull Lake, so she's going to Gull Lake for fourth grade. And Victoria filed paperwork allowing her to do so as well.
Okay, well, I'm questioning your math. If she's completed 3 years of a 12-year.
That'd be 25%.
More like a quarter, isn't it?
Correct, but if she starts, I mean, 25 to a third, okay.
What's the, when Gull Lake was chosen, it was when the two of you were together and you were both living in the Dowling property, correct?
Correct.
Okay, and you say you've never left the children alone. What about the February incident that was talked about, where you had gone down to the gas station and were gone for over a half an hour and the children were left alone in the house? Do you recall that event?
That has never happened. And I
That
don't
never
even know
happened.
how she would hear about something of that such. It's never happened.
So if in fact the children texted their mother saying, Dad has been gone for a half hour, we don't know when he's coming back, you're saying that that never happened?
The same text string that you're talking about that was cut off actually shows Ava saying that he was actually in the driveway. So the whole text was never shown from what you presented, but I do have them if we need to show
Well,
them.
you were talking about the April event that you were in, but there been a time that you left them, you went down to a gas station or a convenience store, and there was some period of time, was there not?
That has never happened.
Okay. You agree that that shouldn't happen, correct?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And you agree that you and Victoria had tried to make arrangements on the parenting time so the parent is available to be with the children as much as possible.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And so what's been going on for, I submit, probably a year or close to it, is that this 4-3 arrangement so that you can be with the children those 3 days of the week, she can be with the children those 4 days a week. Neither one of you has to subject the children to babysitters or daycare or things of that sort, correct?
The current schedule shows my ability to compromise with Victoria and her lack to.
Again, is that not what was the basis of it, so that you could have full-time with the time that you have the kids, and she could have full-time when she had the kids?
Correct.
Okay. You talked about the electronics.
Yes.
You agree, do you not, that you and Victoria agree that there shouldn't be social media such as YouTube and Facebook and Snapchat and all that stuff, correct?
Right. I don't even like that they have iPads. I've asked that she could keep them at her home, but she wants to send them with. But I absolutely do not want them on social media. I think it hurts children.
Okay, and I submit, I don't think you two disagree on that.
Right.
But you said that you did not hamper the children of communicating with their mother, but you have hampered the oldest child texting her mother at various times, have you not?
I do not want my 9-year-old, who was 8 when we were talking about this, having the ability to text random numbers of people. And so I told Victoria that when they're at my house, they're not allowed to have cell phones. If I cannot control what she does at her house, if she wants them to have cell phones, I feel that it's reasonable for me as a parent to say that an 8-year-old, a 5-year-old, and a 2-year-old do not need cell phones until they are alone.
Well, I understand your position that you're saying that the 8-year-old should not have a cell phone. So you're also saying that she is limited of her ability to text her mother, but doing that through you. Is Is
No,
that
she
what
can-
I understand goes on?
She can call, she would much prefer to call or talk, and it would allow the children that don't know how to read or write to communicate as well.
Okay, but I guess my question was that you are curbing her ability to text her mother because you don't let her use the iPad there. Is that correct?
I feel that she would be curbing my ability to make a judgment call on having children with cell phones at my house.
So
If
answer
the
to
children
my
want to
question-
communicate, they should absolutely and do absolutely.
My question is that you curbing her ability, whatever reasons you've got, but you're curbing her ability to use her iPad to contact her mother.
I am not allowing Ava to have a cell phone, correct?
Again, the child is so young. This is unreasonable.
Have you done any analysis of the school districts between Gull Lake and Penfield?
My father went to Penfield and.
My question is, yes or no, have you done any analysis of the school districts of Gull Lake and Penfield?
Yes, and Gull Lake scores higher and all.
What analysis did you do?
I've just seen the data from how schools perform, their education levels, their facilities, the ages of the schools, the quality of the teachers and sports programs. And both Victoria and I have always agreed that Gull Lake Community Schools is far better. And
What
Penfield.
analysis, the question is, what analysis did you do between the two schools?
I've just looked at the ratings of what the schools earn and the reflection of how it ends up with property values and how people everyone wants to go to Gull Lake Community Schools that lives in.
Did you guys just hear something beep? Or was that in my house? A very loud beep, a strange beep. You heard the beeps. Thank fucking God. Oh, how many times have I thought I'm going insane? Because that sounded like it came from behind me.
The area.
Oh,
It's very
wait a minute,
desirable.
that's quite a hyperbole. What do you mean? Everybody wants to go to Gull Lake. I don't want to go to Gull Lake, so how do you
Well,
come
you
up
already
with that?
read. Of course, I'm saying that Gull Lake Community Schools their school districts are better than others. That's just the sad truth of our country. That not all schools are created equal, and Gull Lake is by far the best in the districts.
Okay. Are you in Gull Lake District?
Am I in Gull Lake District?
You
No,
live in Gull Lake District.
no, I live in Delton, Kellogg District.
All right, so it's a school of choice, as Penfield would be a school of choice, correct?
This is the last year that it was, so now they are permanently enrolled. If they obtain this year, they'll be permanently enrolled and do no longer have to have it as school of choice. So if they attend this year, they'll never have to do that again.
Don't have a question. Hold up.
I think the really hard part for the mom and Thomas Schaefer here is that he's not asking for something super unreasonable. That's the hard part about it. She's asking for a lot. She's in fact demanding a lot if you listen to her testimony from the previous days. And she really doesn't sound very flexible. And he's already proven his flexibility and willingness to allow her schedule all these things that are requirements and in fact factors that go into the best factors for the children in Michigan. What they're fighting about really is the established custodial environment. This last year, maybe she knew, maybe she didn't, but establishing the existing custodial environment is an important factor because the status quo is hard to overturn. for children. You tend to want to leave them in the same situation. So I think that's why her thing about changing the school is weird. I think she would win the days easier if she acquiesced on the school or vice versa. But we'll see.
When did you and Victoria have this discussion about the school district?
When Ava was going to be enrolled in kindergarten.
Okay, and is that the last discussion that you've had about that?
No,
Have you had discussion? What's the last time you had discussion?
the last major discussion we had was when we were separating, that Victoria promised she would never pull Ava out of school because it would traumatize her. She's a very routine child and she likes the comfort and the sustainability and the friendships that she's made. It would completely devastate
All
her.
right, just a minute, I asked about the discussion, I didn't,
That was our discussion. That's what we discussed. And so
Okay.
she told me that she would never do that. But
when was the discussion?
this would have been probably a month or two after I found out she was having an affair. So that would have been,
Again, give me a date rather than going off on these tangents.
there is no specific date. I would be guessing if there was a date, but it would be around 2 months after Christmas.
Okay, so this is the time that Ava was already in school, correct?
Correct.
And the discussion was, well, it wouldn't be good to take her out of school in the middle of her school year.
No, she
Correct.
promised that they would always go to Gull Lake Community Schools. That was
Always go.
yes, that she would never pull them out of the school.
And was that some sort of a quid pro quo agreement that you gave up something for that negotiated statement?
No, it was just to protect our children. That she was trying to protect her children and I was trying to protect my children and we both agreed that that would hurt them. And so
Protect them from what?
Protect them from their relationships, their familiarity, their family, the ties with the district.
And the
And
family,
the
the only family connection would be your side of the family, correct?
Keeping them in the same school district, it isn't about when I went there, it is about them receiving the best education possible, which is from that district.
I'm jealous and I want fries, Mark. So bad. What do you dip your fries in? What do you dip your fries in? I guess that really depends on where the fries are from. There's a few like differentiating factors that go into it, but I love fries.
Which is bigger than just that.
It's what?
It's bigger. Their education means everything for their success in life, and it's the best school district in the area.
You made a comment that was, I guess, a little surprising to me for whatever that's worth, but you sleep in the same bed with all of your children?
Absolutely, and I love every moment.
That's a yes or no. Thank you.
Absolutely, yes.
So you have a 9-year-old girl sleeping in your bedroom with the other 2 children in your bed? Is that?
Yeah, and
Do
they
you
love
feel
it.
that is healthy for the relationship?
Yes, they crave it. They ask for it every day. They have not slept in their own beds for probably almost 2 years, year and a half.
So how long do you anticipate that'll go on? When they're all 16 or 17 or what?
I'll take it as long as I can get it, because I know one day I'll wake up and they won't want to be in the bed, and I'll be sad that I don't have that time with them anymore.
Well, rather than leaving it to the children, as a parent, do you think it is healthy for the well-being of the children that you're sleeping with a teenager in your bed?
Hold on. No teenagers are in the bed, Schaefer. She's fucking 9. Let's just keep going.
If Ava wants to continue sleeping in my bed until she's 90 years old, she will.
That's actually adorable. I don't get weird, creepy vibes because a weird creeper would be like, would agree to not do it and then do it secretly, or wouldn't fight for like that. This is just him being a good dad, I think. He's trying to say, I think what's happened is the kids are nervous or whatever. They all sleep in the same bed. I don't I don't see anything wrong with that. And I think I'm not getting weird vibes. So I just think it's such a weird implication to make. Like, did his client bring this up with him and say, like, I'm worried about this? I don't remember her saying that.
Victoria had suggested alternatives of the parenting time. In fact, she even said if you wanted the weekends, she'd take the time during the week of the 5 days and one weekend a month. Is that something that would be acceptable to you?
No, because that would cut my time that I have the children more than in half, but it does show that she's able to compromise her schedule.
And why would that not be acceptable to you if she's willing to give you the weekends because you were complaining that the weekends were not available to you?
Because then I would only see my children 8 days a month.
Okay. She had also indicated to you if the 4-3 continued on that she would give you the 5th week weekend with some adjustments to her. Would that not accomplish something very similar?
I would be willing to accept it in reverse. If she wants to accept her own deal as that, then I would do that. So just flip it, instead of it being Victoria that does that, I'll do it.
Okay, tell me what you would be acceptable to you,
I'll be
other than
able
the
to accept
2255.
a 2255 if she would want to do week on, week off, but I don't think that would be good for her or me because the kids would see us. It'd be too long to go without seeing the children. But I just want an equal amount of time. What's fair for the children, what was always supposed to. I'm just asking for an equal amount of time with the children, and however it gets provided, I'm willing to compromise with. But so far, I've never heard a situation where one parent has all the weekends and Mondays forever, and the other parent has 0 or no holiday time. That's not equal, it's not half. I'm not asking for more than half. I never filed for full custody. I'm purely just wanting everything to be fair for the children.
All right, let's go to the support. You have not provided any support since the separation in paying any money to Victoria for the care of the children, have you?
When they're with me, I pay what I need.
That wasn't the question. Have you paid any money to Victoria since the separation for support?
Well, pay her for what? I'm confused with what your question is.
It's a yes or no. You paid it or you haven't paid it?
Paid her for what? I don't understand what you're
For
asking.
support of the children.
I've never given Victoria a check for any reason.
Okay, and you haven't paid any money since the separation for to reimburse her for the insurance payments of $345 a month, have you?
I paid for just over a year's worth, but again, I'm willing to split it with her or provide my own for them.
And my question to you is that since the separation, you have not paid any money to Victoria for the cost of insurance?
That's
correct?
not true. I paid for a year after for the separation.
When did you pay?
When we divided our assets and financial
All right, listen to my question.
Your Honor, he did answer the question. You asked and answered.
Thanks, Bad Scooter. Hey. Asked and answered. Asked and answered.
Well, go ahead, clarify if you can, Mr. Schaefer, but I think he did answer it.
What is the date that you paid, last date that you paid anything for the insurance cost?
When we split up our assets, when we divided everything that we owned, she put down the cost of her medical and I provided 12 months of it up front. So the first full year was paid for, even though I didn't know if she pulled the same job for that long.
That wasn't my question. My question, what date is the last date you paid anything for insurance?
Yeah, we're gonna have to go.
It was a whole year worth. I don't know what the date that would have been.
Gentlemen,
Year after.
hold on if we can. Unfortunately, we just had a fire alarm go off in our building, so we have to vacate. Hold on, it's off.
Well, everybody be
Must have
careful
been an
on
error or something. So
toes.
go ahead, I'm sorry.
But we might get a
What?
notification.
Judge, what? You can't waffle that fast on a fire alarm? Are you hearing things?
If we see flames, Judge, we'll tell you.
Okay.
Since a year ago from this date, have you paid anything for dental bills?
Yes, I paid for Everly to get a tooth pulled.
And what was the date that you paid?
I would have to look up in the records, but I'm sure I could find it somewhere.
You don't know what date it was.
Not off the top of my head, no.
How much did you pay?
It was over 500, less than 1,000.
Were you and Victoria living together at that time?
No,
You said you went to Seattle for training. How long were you in Seattle?
I was in Seattle for approximately 5.5 days.
Who cared for the children during that time?
Victoria had them for most of that, and my parents on the end of it had them.
So your parents do step in on times that you are not available to be with the children, correct?
Correct.
And your statement that you were always with your children when you had the parenting time is not totally accurate, correct?
Correct.
Okay. When the children are with you, are they all still bathing in the sink?
Not Ava, just Eli, the 3-year-old, and Everly.
Okay.
But they enjoy that time.
You gave some testimony about a septic system not being to par, as I understand it, to warrant different plumbing in the house. Did I understand that correctly?
No, in order for lakes to expand or make additions or add extra bathrooms, you have to call the health and safety department to come and approve it. And recently they have came and approved a new septic system plan and allowing an addition on the lake. But you can't just add bathrooms on a lake when there's no city sewer. So there's a whole
Okay,
process.
so So you haven't got the permits to do any additional things, correct?
The permits haven't been issued, they've been approved. Correct. So I'm not paying for them, they've just approved the plan for when I want to. Correct.
You said that you have a plan to purchase the property. Do you have a signed agreement to that effect?
No, I was just with my parents. They tried to give me the house for free and I just told them that I would pay for it. They were gifted the home by their parents.
What are the terms of this agreement to purchase the house?
That I will pay $130,000 for the home
When?
whenever they want me to stay there because they love me and the kids being around.
Whenever. This actually sounds like how I think family homes and properties should work. He's not turned down the free house. He lives in the free house. What he's smart in doing is not obtaining any new huge assets while he's going through a separation and divorce. And I think that it is smart that he the reality is they probably won't make him pay for it. I think that also means he doesn't pay rent now. And remember, guys, they have a shower, just not a bathtub, and she lived there for 3 or 4 years all together. They all live there. It's on a lake. It sounds lovely. We've seen pictures.
And when was this agreement entered into?
This agreement, just verbally within the last year. Then we continue to talk about it.
What year?
There's no written agreement. It's just something that my parents have always wanted, was for me and the kids to live on the lake.
I'm jealous of Mark's fries and I'm jealous of his lake house.
No further questions, Your Honor. Thank you.
Mr. Moldovan, any redirect?
Yeah, now how often, Jesse, do you use your parents to watch the kids?
How often do I use them to watch the
Yeah.
kids? I never used them to watch the kids. I did when I went to Seattle, but usually I just go over and we hang out. They miss seeing them. Usually on school nights, we don't get to go over and hang out with them as much, so they have a lot of time where they have not been able to see their grandparents.
Had you and Victoria discussed that arrangement for you to take this Seattle trip, with respect to the parenting time? Or no?
No,
Okay. Obviously, your parents showed up, to pick up the kids on your day? Is that how it worked?
correct.
Okay. And how often are you helping out? This was a trip for your brother, right? Or your
Right.
brother's business?
Right.
How often are you helping your brother with this business?
This was the first real work trip with them. I don't have a flexible enough schedule anymore to just do this
Okay.
full time.
So, no, speaking of that so your flexible schedule is because of your job right now?
Right,
Is that, and that's flipping homes or whatever, right?
right, but I'm not going to continue flipping. When I've received some sort of permanent schedule, I will find a different job, but everything I call, no one just works Saturday, Sunday, Monday.
Okay, so as this schedule that you've been following, it's been a schedule out of convenience for Victoria?
Just for Victoria, but it's hard to find a regular job that only works you Saturday, Sunday, and Monday.
Okay, so do you believe Victoria had to make had to make adjustments to her work schedule to do this parent time schedule?
I think that she's always worked 4 days a week. I think that they gave her the choice of having a Friday off or Monday off, and she chose Monday. But I'm with the kids the whole entire actual work week.
Okay, and when you guys, if you looked at the calendar, is it fair to say that there's 4 nights of the week the children sleep at Victoria's house and 3 nights they sleep at your house?
Correct.
Okay, However, if we look at, the days, do you pick them up early Tuesday morning?
Right, 8 a.m.
And then when do you drop them off on Friday?
Friday, 4:30.
So was that a schedule, something that you guys had discussed to make it so it was roughly equal?
No, this was never discussed to make it equal. It was just me at the beginning helping Victoria with her work schedule. It was always supposed to be temporary.
Okay, and again, it was your guys' kind of thought process that to limit childcare?
Right, to
What?
never have the children in an actual child or daycare.
Okay, so so your long-term plan will be to, get a different job outside, on top of the flipping the house job?
Correct, I'll always continue to buy and sell real estate. I'll work a normal 30, 40 hour job, and then I'll also continue the emergency response plan.
Okay, is that something you think you can get, you'll be able to sustain and support yourself on?
Yes,
Okay. When you were working for that solar energy company, what were you earning?
I was earning $35 an hour, working approximately 60 hours a week.
Okay, so what would that equate to? Probably 60, 70,000 a year or what?
I never worked there for a full year, but it was about 7 months, I would say.
Okay, so if you were to go back and work for them full-time, you'd have enough income to support yourself and the family?
Absolutely, and
Okay,
they would definitely want me back,
all right,
but they work the weekdays.
I got you.
They
So,
don't work weekends.
if, what, you said that the children going to Gull Lake is no longer school choice after this year?
Correct, if they go this year, they're then they're considered permanent Gull Lake students. So they would never have to file for a school of choice anymore. It would just be, they're always enrolled in Gull Lake Community School District.
Okay. And, so that won't be an issue that you have to apply for each year after this year?
Correct.
Okay. And it's my understanding, both you and Victoria, applied for the school for Gull Lake Schools for this most recent school year?
Correct.
This one coming up in the fall, I should say?
Right.
Okay. What did you have to submit?
We had to submit a final school of choice document showing why they would like to go there and if they'd ever been there before, if they have any siblings in the school district or if they've had any family members or whatnot in the district, and then they want to see if there's any family ties to the district. They're just trying to judge.
Another point in his favor is because he's not doing that. In fact, he is stupidly, in my opinion, but absolutely in his own way, it's just stated that he makes $60,000 to $70,000 a year, or he could. And this judge will absolutely impute income based upon testimony in court. We've seen him do it before. If he was trying to be a sleazeball, he would say, I'm unemployed, I make no money. But he's not even saying that. And so I don't get the vibe that he's quitting his job because he didn't have a job before. They bought and flipped houses together, and she was a stay-at-home mom. So it's sort of a difficult thing to say that he's not working because he is, in fact, working the same way that he was before. But he's also caring for the children a lot. So their child support, in my opinion, should be commensurate to the amount of time and the income of each party. I don't know if that's exactly how it is, but in my jurisdiction, if you share custody, they take both incomes and how many children that you have together, and then each person gets like a monthly payment amount. So if you make $50,000 and you have one child, this is how much you pay. And the other person, say they make $80,000 and they have one child, that's how much they pay, and then you take the difference between those, and that's the child support amount.
People's, how they've been in the district and why they want to be there.
Okay. And I think Mr. Schaefer asked you about, what research you did. Did you talk to other people, about the school and Penfield schools versus Gull Lake schools and things like that?
Yep, I've talked to people, friends. I went to Delton for a few years and it was not a great school district. My father went to Penfield for a few years. He didn't like it. He ended up teaching at Gull Lake Community Schools for almost 30 years.
I'm going to object to the opinions, hearsay of third parties, Your Honor.
Okay, sustained.
That's fine. So you feel you've done enough investigation and to make a decision as a parent?
Correct.
Okay. So the sleeping arrangement, do you believe that that's not appropriate?
I feel it's very appropriate that they sleep with me. That's what they want. It makes them feel safe.
Okay. Do you, yeah, I mean, is it fair to say that you have a pretty tight bond with these children?
Absolutely. And one day when they don't sleep in my bed, I'll miss it. I know I will.
Okay. Nothing's inappropriate about it.
No, absolutely not.
Okay. And again, you guys I've been following this 4-3 overnight schedule for almost a year.
Correct.
But was it your idea or your understanding that would never be the rate of the permanent?
It was just my willingness to compromise when things weren't out of hand.
And what do you mean by that? Your willingness to compromise, so because there was a different schedule from before, or
Well,
what?
just because I was always told at the beginning that when we were going to divorce, that she told me she would never try to take the kids from me, and that we would have equal amount of time. And when I received the first divorce documents, she was filing for full physical and legal custody. So I had to obtain a lawyer to defend my rights as father.
And again, you think an equal arrangement that gives you some weekend time?
Right. So when I agreed to that schedule, it was before those papers were filed to me.
Okay,
And now they're being tried to make permanent.
all right. Why do you want some weekend time with the kids?
They miss bonding with me. They always ask to come over and have friends over. They want to play on the lake or go swimming when it's not just summertime, or want to go on the ice or wake up and just have fun family time. And I don't get any of that.
Okay,
They don't get any of that.
so you want the weekends so you can have more family time on the weekends when the kids are outside of school, is that accurate?
Right. They just miss playing with me at the house.
Okay, nothing further, Your Honor, thank you.
Mr. Schaefer, anything else?
Yes, follow up. When you get this real 40-hour or 30-hour week job, that is going to go contrary to your ability to personally care for the minor children during the weekday. Is that not true?
No, because when I'm searching, I'll find one that's maybe 3 days a week, 12 to 14 hours a day, knock it all out when I don't have the children. And that would sustain, I have very minimal bills, that would sustain that. And then on top of the other things that I could do for extra income, I will.
Well, that's kind of pie in the sky if you can find such a job as that, but if you've got a.
Our argument.
Just a second. That is just the preface of my question, but what, do you have any such job lined up?
I can get one whenever I need to, and whenever I have to. I need to figure out what the schedule is first.
If the schedule were to be such that your job obligations are going to conflict when the children were with you, who's going to care for the children?
I won't take a job that conflicts with the time with the children. So I will schedule my work around the times that they're not at the house.
All right, that philosophy, do you extend that to Victoria also? That if she can't find a job that allows her to be with the children all the time on the schedule, then she shouldn't take that job either?
I don't feel this is an isolated incident. I think every parent has to make their judgment call on finding a time that aligns with being with their family and helping out their family. Every parent has to work around their work and their children. That's just the nature.
Okay, I don't necessarily quarrel with you, but I'm saying that if that's your philosophy and it's good for you, so what's good for the goose is good for the gander, correct? That would be an acceptable philosophy from Victoria's standpoint too.
My philosophy is to spend as much time as I can with the children when they're children. Childhood's very short, so I will make sacrifices to make that happen.
No further questions, Your Honor. Thank you.
Okay, anything else, Mr. Moldovan?
No questions, Your Honor.
Moldovan, next witness,
Your Honor, defense rests.
okay? Mr. Schaefer, any rebuttal?
Yeah, I'll call my client at this point in time for rebuttal.
Okay. As far as you understand, you're still under oath.
Yes,
Okay, thank you. Go ahead.
A number of things that were talked about. First of all, the job that you're having now is with Gallagher, correct?
yes,
And have you received accommodations from your employer to coincide to the parenting time that you currently have?
yes. The original job I took, I'm supposed to have a random day off anywhere from Monday to Friday. And I told them I could not work there anymore unless it could be Mondays. And then on top of that, that I cannot come in till at least 8:30 in the morning every week on Tuesdays, which they did not like either, but they made a lot of accommodations.
It is accurate that the insurance is being paid by you for the children?
Yes, $345 a month.
And is there any validity to what we heard from your husband about him saying that he has paid you some $1,700 for health insurance?
Yes, I've not ever received a single dollar of that.
Has he paid any of the dental bills since the separation?
I'm assuming whatever dentist bill he's talking about, he's paid. But the rest of everything else and any urgent care, any well now visits, anything else was mine.
And he has talked about taking the children for vaccines. Were you aware of that situation?
That was not this, maybe over a year ago, the kids needed a couple of vaccines to be updated to go to school.
Was that after the separation?
Yes,
Okay. He had talked about never leaving the children alone. And you had testified earlier about a November event and an April event. And were those accurate as far as you knew from the notification of your children?
yes.
The action, Your Honor, to the hearsay, to the hearsay.
Just
I'm not
hang.
asking for what they said. There's a lot of testimony about the school district. First of all, do you have any family members or family connection to the Gull Lake School District?
I do not.
And was there discussion to put them into Gull Lake when you two guys were together?
Yes, there's not many other great school districts, and that was the best one around.
Okay. what is your opinion as to changing the school district for one who has just finished third grade, one who finished first grade, and one's not in school? Do you see a detriment of changing the school district?
No, I would think they'd do okay.
And is Penfield consistent with your testimony before, equal distance between your husband and you?
Yes, it is.
You had indicated that if this 2255 existed, that you would probably have to quit your job and find some other job. Is that your opinion?
Yes, I would have to find some other source of employment and hope it had insurance.
As far as you know, currently your husband does not have insurance on the children for medical care?
No, he is not.
He made some comment that you had an affair in Christmas of 22. Is that accurate?
I had a friend that I was talking to, but that was definitely not why the relationship ended.
I'm sorry, what? I mean, seriously, it's uncanny. I turn off the camera for 1 second and then they talk about the affair. Maybe I should keep the camera off and they'll keep talking about it. Did you see how she looked up when she said that too? See, it would hold so much more weight if she didn't end up dating Mario after, the friend who she didn't have an affair with, but she fucked after. Yeah. But it was the bathtub, right? Ma'am, why are you doing this? I don't even think Michigan's an at-fault state. I don't think that it will affect it either way if she did have an affair. Is that what that means? Am I saying the right thing?
Why did the relationship end?
Our main problems were money problems, were house problems, job problems, insurance problems. And after I realized none of those things were ever going to happen, no matter how many years I waited, I went and got a job and I left.
Do you believe there's an established custodial environment with the children this last year as to the 4-3 arrangement?
I do.
Your Honor,
I think-
objection, I'd call for that. I'd call for a legal conclusion.
Also
Well, I
saying
think
that she can state what she feels as far as working, but I don't think she can make a statement as to establish custodial environment.
Were you aware that your husband is sleeping every night with the 3 children in one bed?
I know there's not enough beds for all of them, but no, I guess it's not something I've talked about with him.
Do you feel comfortable with that arrangement?
I feel if the kids think it's necessary that maybe I'm not uncomfortable with that.
Oh, thank you. I don't know why I was not expecting her to even be decent about that, but even she can't falsely say that something's weird about that. I don't think she's worried about that. I don't think it is. And that is refreshing. That's the first time. Ma'am, it's just so disingenuous when they go through and you can tell that she's just putting on this show, you know?
Do you currently drink alcohol?
I do.
And how often do you drink?
Occasionally.
Do you perceive that as any sort of problem in your moral makeup?
I do not.
Have you ever been convicted of drunk driving?
No.
We talked about the electronics. What is your opinion in relation to the children being on social media?
I agree with Jesse that they should not be on any type of social media where they can contact other people. But I for sure think they should always be able to text me. And I also think they should be able to text their dad at any time for safety reasons, for anything. That should not ever be restricted unless it's excessive. But I do not consider 3 texts a day to be excessive.
And have you been curbed in receiving texts from your children because of rules in Jesse's house?
Yes, when the iPads go to his house, they're allowed to use them at his house, but they can absolutely not contact me. So when I go to text Ava goodnight, it says message undelivered, message undelivered. That's what it says every single time I text her, and it's something he shuts off when the iPads go to his house. So he wants the iPads there, but they cannot be used for communication.
You have given a number of alternatives. Is your preference?
I'm sorry, you broke up. I can't.
Okay.
I didn't hear that either. I don't think anybody heard that.
I didn't hear the question.
I think maybe Mr. Schaefer froze up. I don't know.
Yeah. He ducked out of the way.
Oh dear. Creed frame, but it's not my fault. It's not my fault. It's not my fault. Okay, so for tonight, for dinner, just while we're waiting for Mr. Schaefer to come back, I am thinking about making garlic, mushroom, bacon, cream sauce. Oh, no, don't,
We
uh-oh.
lost Mr. Schaefer completely now.
With spaghetti noodles. I said garlic, onion, mushroom.
Can you
no.
hear us, Mr. Schaefer?
I can now.
Oh,
Okay.
Just for a
Good.
while.
Okay. What is your preference in relation to the parenting time, Victoria, going forward?
hold on. I was thinking I might go real crazy. Barbecue some chicken breast and then serve that over top of the pasta with some garlic bread. And what else? Ooh, smoked ribs and made twice baked potato salad. That sounds delicious. Right? New boyfriend. Let's not talk about it. You guys are hilarious. Night Bill, yes, it is still happening. That's why I need to shut up, actually. Shut up, Paisley. Hit play.
I think the schedule we have now works best for the kids and I, and even Jesse. I'd like to continue what we're doing, but I understand the need for weekends. I could give up a weekend a month, but that is absolutely it. I think they are better at my house.
All right. No further questions, Your Honor.
Okay. Mr. Mullivan?
Thank you. Ms. Vavra, so when you text the kid, you text your oldest daughter, say goodnight, do you ever call?
Yeah, we do call sometimes, but sometimes I don't really want to bother everyone, so I like to be able to text her, good night, love you. I would love to have a response, but that's not an option, obviously.
Calls have never been blocked though, right?
No, calls have not been blocked. I have to text Jesse and ask if I can have them call me, and then
And
but
he
no,
does,
blocked.
okay, and he accommodates that, right?
Yep.
Okay, so based on the current schedule, you get the kids Friday afternoon, right, after school?
Yep.
Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and till Tuesday morning, right?
Yes.
Okay, so if the court adopted that 2-2-5-5 schedule and your days were Monday, Tuesday. And it was your weekend, let's say, you would still get the kids Friday afternoon. Have them Saturday, have them Sunday, have them Monday, like currently, right? And
Okay.
if you had Tuesday, then that would be the day that you would actually be switched from an overnight, right?
So what's the point of changing anything if it's so close?
So, well, your testimony was you'd have to quit your job. So
Yeah, I'll have to find daycare for Tuesday, which right now
Okay.
no one's in daycare.
So your parents live in the area, your dad testified, your sister's in the area, right?
No, I'm in Battle Creek and they are in Marshall.
Okay, and, but it would be feasible to, if you needed to, rely on them to see the kid, watch the kids on a short-term basis. Could they do that?
They would not. They all work full-time jobs.
Okay, now, but there's daycare options available?
If I could afford daycare, I guess I could drop them off at daycare somewhere, but I would rather that I did not put my kids in daycare when we have a schedule that works.
And again, right now, it works, but you don't work on Mondays,
Correct.
right? Okay.
They go late on
So
Tuesday.
Tuesday would be the only day that would need some assistance, right?
Yeah, but why do that when we have something that works?
And Jesse indicated in his that he would be willing to help out with the kids to get them to school or whatever.
That way he can have an extra day and I lose one, is what that really boils down to.
Well, is that a viable alternative as opposed to quitting your job?
No,
Okay. How long have you worked for Gallagher?
almost 2 years.
Okay. And you said they made accommodations to your work schedule for this?
Yes.
So what was the first date you started?
I
Aaron?
want to October of 2 years ago,
2022?
I think.
Okay. So, and then you guys separated January of 2023?
Yes.
Okay, so during October, November, December, when you guys had not separated, you had a different work schedule?
I worked, I would have a random day off. And I always went in very early. So I
Okay.
told them after the separation, I could absolutely would not work Mondays, and I have to come in late on Tuesdays to get them ready for school until dad can pick them up.
Okay, and
I've
that
made
was,
as many accommodations as I possibly can.
all right, and that was based on that arrangement that you guys had worked on with this sharing the children equally, right?
Not equally, yes, but me 4 nights a week and him 3. Yes, that was an accommodation made to make that and have the kids never in daycare.
And you'll agree that that this current schedule that you're doing now is not the original schedule that you did when you first separated, right?
For a very short period of time, a matter of weeks, Jesse had them a little bit more time until work allowed me to make this accommodation. So yes, I had to fight them for this.
Okay. And, Mr. Schaefer asked you about medical bills and dental bills. You don't know what Jesse's paid, for when he takes the kids, right?
No,
He's never asked you, he's never presented a medical bill to you for reimbursement.
no,
Okay. And you testified you didn't present those bills to him either?
I
Or
did
your
initially in the beginning. In the initial, I presented him with, I think, the first 2 dentist appointments. And after he gave me a retaliation of why they were too little to go to the dentist and it was really unnecessary and all these things, I presented those bills, and from that point after, I just paid them. It was easier, and that's just, I wasn't gonna fight him for it.
And that was, when was that? That was right after you separated?
Yes,
So these bills that we discussed most recently, those were never presented to him.
correct. It was not worth the fight.
And, now you said your dispute that Jesse paid you the $1,700 and when you guys first separated?
No, he did not.
So when you guys divided up your bank accounts, did he accommodate, didn't they accommodate that payment in that distribution?
No, but he also says that we didn't split our retirement, and he made me pay cash for that to him. So
Okay.
Jesse had plenty of accommodations that are not being looked at.
All
But no, I
right,
did not get paid for health insurance.
okay, so you dispute that he gave you extra money when you separated?
Correct.
Okay, have you asked him to pay you anything else in the last 6 months?
No, like I said, it's not worth the fight. I'm not arguing with him for no reason.
Nothing further, Your Honor.
Anything else, Mr. Schaefer?
Further.
Okay, thank you. Any additional rebuttal, Mr. Schaefer?
No additional rebuttal.
Okay. Mr. Moldovan, any rebuttal?
No, Your Honor.
All my exes live in
Okay.
Texas.
Mr. Schaefer, would you like to do closing argument?
Yes.
Okay, go ahead.
Your Honor, you have before you, in spite of all the other cases that you have of 2 people who have done fairly well, I think, in communicating for the benefit of their children. At the time of the separation, I think they were both of like mind, saying, we don't want these kids to be in daycare, so let's figure out how not to have the kids in daycare, and they did. And this has been working for a year or more, whereby it's a 4-3 circumstance. My client has gotten accommodations for her employment to make this work. Her testimony, it does work. The kids are able to deal with it, and it ought to be continued. And I think that is the first throng of this. In conjunction with that, Your Honor, I think there's an established custodial environment, albeit a 1-year time period, but the custodial environment is not necessarily determined by the length of it being in effect. But this has been in effect by agreement, and it has worked. And I ask that that be continued, especially in light of my client accommodating that through her employment. Keep in mind that the testimony is that the breakdown in this marriage is because the husband in this particular matter would not deal with the insurance costs when you have 3 little kids is substantial, and that had to be dealt with. My client dealt with that, got an employment with insurance that she pays $345 a month for to cover these kids. The husband would not do that for whatever reasons. And I'll suggest what those reasons are. These people are going to be divorced, and they're going to go their separate lives. And this needs to be adjusted or stay the same to continue on the best interest of the kids. I am suggesting that a school district halfway between the parties makes sense to accommodate both of their travel obligations, and that is Penfield. That is equal between the 2 homes. My client has a permanent home. She has bought a 3-bedroom home which will accommodate the children. Apparently the father feels obliged to stay with his parents. And that is a driving factor that you hear through all of his testimony, that he lives in a home owned by his parents. He lives in a home that I suggest has 1 bedroom. He says it has 2 bedrooms, but what is more striking, and I think problematical, is that he has got 3 kids and he living and sleeping in the same bed. And on cross-examination, his position is, well, as long as the kids want to sleep, I'm going to, if they want to sleep until they're 90, we're going to all sleep in the same bed. That is not healthy for the well-being of the children, in all due respect. You've got a 9-year-old daughter that is of age, and he did not back off of the circumstance that that is going to be okay even when she's a teenager. That's problematical. The rest of the best interest factors are such that I think they both obviously love their children. They both obviously have a great bond with their children. I think the stability factor weighs in favor of mother. She is employed at a real job, that she is caring for the medical, the dentistry. We heard testimony that the father was reluctant to take the kids to urgent care because he didn't think it was serious enough. But from a general standpoint, both of these parents have done what they should do for the children with some extremes. We are asking that the current situation be continued as the parenting time, to be joint legal and physical custody of the children. And that if in fact the court is concerned about a weekend, but I'm not sure that should be a big concern, that there be a 5th weekend available to the father with an adjustment of 1 day during the week toward the mother, as suggested in our argument before and testimony before. There should be child support based on the guidelines, overnights, income. We have heard testimony that my client's income is approximately $57,000 a year. We have heard from testimony and the trial brief that the father makes $60,000 to $70,000 a year. And that's what he certainly could make. He said that if he works full-time, he chooses not to work full-time. So I think that is the number that gets plugged in on the child support. The most important thing here is to take into consideration what's going on in the last year, what's in the best interest of the children. I am suggesting to the court to continue what these parties have dealt with as to the child time with each parent continue on. At this point in time, they have dealt with it. They've made accommodations for it. That the school district beginning in the fall go to Penfield. That's halfway between the children homes with each parent. It makes sense that that will alleviate some of the travel time. And we ask that that be included in this. Your Honor, that is the request, and I think the proofs support that for the best interest of the children. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Moldovan?
Thank you, Your Honor. Mr. Shaver and I agree. I believe that this case here is an appropriate one for joint legal and joint fiscal custody. I believe that there is an established custodial environment that's been established with both parents here. Based on that schedule, I think both children look to the other, the parent that has parenting time for their guidance and for discipline and necessities of life and whatnot. And so under that arrangement, when there is a joint established custodial environment, the court, should look at awarding parenting time in a roughly equal time if parties are unable to agree. Now, the schedule that these parties agreed to do and have been following is certainly one that's kind of based out of convenience and my client's consideration for Ms. Vabra's work schedule and her requirement to get to work early, and based on his current flexibility with respect to being self-employed as a house flipper. But the testimony was clear that the situation was never meant to be a permanent one. And it doesn't allow my client time to have holidays based upon the ones that fall on the weekends. And it doesn't allow my client time to have quality time with on non-school days. I don't think that's in the children's best interests. Our proposal with respect to the 2255 schedule really has a very marginal impact on mom's current time with her children. When you look at it, all that schedule does is it impacts her on a Tuesday and a Tuesday evening. Again, most parents have to make arrangements and accommodations, and the testimony was clear. If needed, Mr. Vabra will help out, but he needs to get a job that doesn't require him to just work on the times that are off. He understands that. And I think his testimony was clear here that he wants to be available for his children, but he knows he needs to provide for them and is looking for more of a consistent, regular 9-to-5 job that can be adjusted based on a consistent schedule. That's what's important here for the children. Consistency in their schools. They've been attending Gull Lake schools since the beginning. The parties have agreed every year to keep them in Gull Lake schools because of the children's potential there, the connections that they have to the school district and their involvement there. The kids have developed friendships. They're doing well, and there's really no reason to upset that and change that now. Especially in light of the fact that even mom, while this case was pending, requested the children attend Gull Lake schools again for the fall. And so that was an agreement they reached when they were together. It was an agreement that they've reached since they've separated. And it's clearly in the children's best interest to continue that. There's been no testimony that the kids are struggling in school and having any issues with their education. So again, upsetting that and changing that because of the divorce is really not in the children's best interest, Your Honor. And I would submit that they need to maintain that school, that education there at that school. So with respect to the breakdown here, Obviously, we dispute the real reasons of why these parties are breaking up, but the fact of the matter is the marriage is over, and they both kind of agreed to that. And they've been able to work out for the most part, an arrangement for these kids. And I think that's commendable, that they are able to do that. So really what we're looking at here is what's the schedule that makes the most sense here? And, you know, is it, you continue dad's current, time with the kids being the midweek, making him responsible for getting the kids to and from school Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday morning, every single week. And again, putting them to bed on the school nights, making their lunches and doing all that. And then allow mom to have Friday after school, Saturday for Saturday, Sunday fun day, and Monday. Again, taking them to school on just those days. That doesn't seem like it's a schedule that is beneficial to these parents in order to have quality time with the children. So I think that's important here for the court to look at that. Is that a change in the pattern? It's an adjustment, but I don't believe it's a significant change when you really look at the whole scheme of things here. Again, we'd ask the court order a holiday schedule on a rotating basis consistent with the Calhoun County policy. With respect to child support, my client certainly has no objection to contributing towards the children's expenses. He has paid what he has been informed about. When he takes the children to medical appointments, pays for the bills. So again, that was something that I think these parties have worked on, and maybe there's some disagreement in regards to each of them. But the fact is, there's never been an issue with him not wanting to pay for his children. So again, I think child support, if it's appropriate, we really need to look at the inputs here. And I believe the testimony from mom was that her net income was somewhere around $57,000 or $56,000. It's a different amount for the gross, obviously, but I also look at, she also has a license as a licensed realtor, which is another source of income that she maintains with her position at Keller Williams. So there's certainly there's an issue regarding her income and what to use for the child support. I really dispute the employer making accommodations. It doesn't, perhaps going in late on a Tuesday isn't an accommodation. I really look at it as, this was a schedule that these parents said, let's split the time with these kids. Here's what we're gonna do. Dad's gonna help out. But it was never meant to be a permanent solution. So again, I'd ask the court to really look at that schedule. I think a schedule that, again, the 2255 schedule seems to fit more with our version of our belief in regards to mom's work schedule. Obviously she disputes that, but we believe that is the case. With respect to tax exemptions, I would ask that the court rotate those equally. I think that's certainly reasonable in light of this parenting time schedule, even with the current one or with the one that we've asked the court to adopt. So I know Mr. Schaefer has an issue with the sleeping arrangements, but he asked his client that same question. And I think it's important to say that her response was, she doesn't have a problem with it if that's appropriate for the kids, or if the kids are wanting, if the kids are okay with it. It's clear these parties have a good bond with it. I don't think there's any allegation that either of them have mistreated or somehow have improperly behaved in the presence of the children. I think they both love their children, and as a parent, I think we want to spend as much time with our kids as possible. And it's always a difficult and divorce situation because you no longer can see them every day. And so I think I commend these parties on wanting to try to maximize their schedule so they have time with the kids when they're not working. But the fact of the matter remains is that we as parents have an obligation to support our children and to make the best arrangements we can. So again, Your Honor, we we think a situation here that's, is a joint custodial arrangement, is a parenting time schedule consistent with that 2255 schedule, with mom having Monday, Tuesday, dad having Wednesday, Thursday each week. It's consistent, stable, it provides the children with something they can rely on, and it also gives each parent quality time with the children on non-school days. And we'd ask that the court adopt a holiday schedule that rotates the holidays, so each party shares in those. With respect to child support, you know, obviously the court's gonna order child support consistent with the formula. I think their incomes are significantly equal that it's really gonna be a minimal issue, and I'd ask that that be effective at some point in the future. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Schaefer, anything else?
Yes, just a little bit, a couple comments, Your Honor. As testified before, the holidays probably should be divided up pursuant to the schedule. We have no difficulty with that. Comment on the income, the testimony was the $57,000 figure was the total income that she had, which included both her day job and the little amount that she had in relation to the realtor's license. I think that the argument being made, say, well, this is a marginal change or impact on my clients. I think it's a major impact on the client as to the job. And we are submitting, and I think it's borne out, that the reason that she went out and got this full-time job was the insurance, and he wouldn't do it. And now she has done that. She has carved out this job, and to get the insurance pays her $345 a month without any reimbursement, and to accommodate the need for the children. So that needs to be taken in consideration. What is intact now is working. I think it ought to be continued. If one weekend, the fifth weekend, whatever, for the father is going to accommodate that, we don't have any problem with that. My client has indicated that he's willing to do that. But that argument is kind of spurious from the standpoint that he now has the benefit all during the week to be with the children, especially in the summer. He has testified over and over again that his job is such that he's flexible, so he spends his afternoons with the kids on the days there. So the suggestion, well, there's something magical about the weekends, I think kind of falls short of reality here. But Your Honor, I guess I agree with opposing counsel that we've got people who have a great relationship with their kids, and they've tried to accommodate that. And I'm respectfully asking that the situation continue as best as it is in order to protect my client's efforts on her job in this particular matter. And so I would ask that it be continued as most as you can. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Well, that concludes the proof and argument in this matter. Obviously, it's going to take some time for the court to go over all the notes and the issues in the matter, so we're not going to be able to conclude it today.
Yada, yada, yada. They go on to schedule the next hearing. Don't worry, I will get that for us. We don't know when it is. Actually, they talk about scheduling it for a while and then eventually decide that they will reach out to each other after the fact. So we are going to have members only at 5:45 Pacific time, which is 8:45 East. That's in about 40 minutes. Not enough time for me to make dinner, but enough time for me to refresh for another amazing show. I wish I could, I mean, Mark, honestly, I know. I wish I didn't have to, but I don't have it. It hasn't happened yet. If I created it with AI and let us watch it, it would be a lie. An AI lie. We will get resolution, but just not yet. but yes, that's enough time to bacon it up. We're going to be doing a wonderful members only. If you were one of the lucky members that Mark gave a membership to, come on by and say hi. We have something you. Oh my goodness. We have something unique. I don't know why I'm like salivating more because I was thinking about bacon. That's why. And Mark. So we were gonna have well, everything we do at members only is a little bit different than the stuff we do normally. So it's gonna be in about 40 minutes at 8:40 p.m. Eastern. That's 5:40 Pacific. And I'll just post it shortly after I say goodbye here. So you guys can go hang out there if you want, and we will be there shortly. Anywho, I don't know, Mark. I don't even know. We've been going almost 3 hours. It's time for a break, but we will be back very shortly. And in the meantime, before we say goodbye, Miss Donna is saying, no way, Jose. 5 more people. Ah! Do. I love you too. Thank you so much, Miss Donna, Miss Orlando Chiquita. Thank you. So yes, members only coming up very shortly. And we are going to be exploring 2 different topics that I've gotten a little bit into the rabbit holes of this week. We chat, it's a bit more informal, and it's a good time. So keep an eye out for that. Remember that I love you. I am proud of you. And I'll see you in the next video. It's coming right up. Be there. Bye.